Ladies and gentlemen, and everything and everyone else out there, my name is Dan, the Java Novice, and this is a redo of a video about creating scale for maps, for fantasy maps, or just in general to get a kind of an idea of how I do it. First and foremost, what we're going to be using today, we are going to be using Google Earth Pro. It's a free program. Just go ahead and actually, I will show you. There we go. Type that in your website, your web browser of preference. There you go. Just click on there, download. You're good to go. Okay, this is what it looks like. Initial screen. Our second tool we're going to be using today is we are going to be using a place to kind of keep our notes. And well, there's two such. This is just a just Notepad, Microsoft Notepad, and there's also all old reliable Microsoft Paint. Okay, what we're going to do first is we are going to create a common language, a language on when we're talking. Usually with my commission, I'll ask, well, how big you want the world? And that's a really interesting question, because unless we need to have a common ground on how big that is, we can't really get into an identification of the scale of the map. So let's say someone said, oh, I just need a map that is let's say the size of Europe. Okay, well, let's take the size of Europe. Europe, using the map tool right here, there's a ruler tool. And you can see, Europe, about 2,000, 3,000 miles. 1 kilometer is about 4,000 miles, kilometers, sorry. And now that's just, east to west. North to south, we're looking roughly at 1,000, 2,000 miles or so, like that. That really doesn't give us, when you're working with authors or creators or people that are making a product in a fantasy realm, that information is just random numbers, just random stuff and jargon. Well, it's kind of the size of Europe, not that big. So what I usually do is I don't approach it in real world size unless they're, unless they know for certain, if they said, hey, this is like the size of Japan or the size of Australia or something like that. To tell me exactly what it is, I will go in and usually just measure out a location. But usually it's all, hey, how long as a crow flies, well, as a person walks, can a person walk in a day? How long is it going to take for a person to go east and west on your creation, or north and south? The average human being in reasonably good health can walk up in 7 hours without breaks, can walk up to 25 miles. So, roughly about that. It's 26, but who cares? Or, so let's go with kilometers. So 40 kilometers, 25 miles. That's kind of safe to say someone can move that far in a day. What we're going to use that is we are going to use that information and kind of break up and say, hey, how long, to our commission friend, how long is it going to take someone to walk from one point to the other point on your map, point A to point B? And usually they'll give us, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 months, or maybe 3 or 4 months, or stuff like that. Okay, easy peasy then, if that comes out like that. So if they say like 3 weeks, let's go ahead and make sure I do this right. Okay, 3 weeks, that's 7 days. That's 21 days. 25. That's going to give us 525 miles. Okay, so let's go back to our map here. So that would be in a month. It's roughly the height of England. Now, this is, again, obstacles are going to slow that down, so you have to kind of keep that in mind. But straighten up and down, they're describing an area roughly the size of England, Scotland, and Wales. Okay, that's kind of a cool little thing there. So that's a month up, a month down. Okay, and that's pretty much a scale there. Some people, they're like, oh, it took like 3 months to pass. Well, let's go back to yield calculator. So that's, 30 days times 3, that's 90, times 25, boom, 2,250 miles. Now we're getting into, so yeah, it's like walking from Portugal all the way to the Caspian Sea. So yeah, so you kind of get an idea of how far things are going. Again, the 25 miles is based on the no, I don't want sides. Sorry, that's based on a marathon. That's also based on record of comfortable things. Now, a soldier in full kit on the peak of training, they did in the Falklands War. Between Argentina and Britain, there were soldiers wearing up to 80 kilos of kit. Yeah, they were going like 50 miles in a day, 80 kilometers in a day. And I don't know how much kilos that were, but it was a full armor, well, full military, modern military equipment. So let's go ahead and look at our map here. Let's say I want, once we have the information, once we know, this is going to be our scenario. Let's say I have someone that says, oh, let's say 3 months up, 3 months up, 3 months down. Okay, so we are going to have a square map. It's going to take our adventurers or anybody else 3 months to go east to west or 3 months to go left to right. So let's go ahead and using Europe as an example. We're going to start right here and we're going to come down. Let's figure this out really quick. So roughly, again, miles, 2,250 miles. Da, da, da. All right. So we are going to go roughly, we're going to find that roughly on our map. Sorry, it's really early here and I'm trying not to, I had to bust out the good mic. Well, the old mic. Okay, 2,000. Let's do 2,500 miles. Okay, I've got my up and down. What I usually do next, once I know kind of the up and down, the north and south of it, I will gently zoom my camera into a section there. So I know that's there. Let's see if we can move this in just a touch more. And again, play around with Google Earth. It's really great. My north and south, I've kind of adjusted that to my screen size. So now let's go 2,500 miles. All right. There, it's not the best part. Let's go, let's go Gibraltar. So roughly 2,500-ish is right there. Okay. So now that I have that, roughly, let's see. Okay. I know that the top here to here is roughly 2,500 miles. From right here to right here is 2,500 miles. Okay. What we're going to do right now is, since we've mapped that out with Google Earth, I'm going to control and print screen. We're going to rip open our handy dandy paint, control print screen, and control V to slap that down in paint. We're next going to take our tool here, our little cropping tool, and kind of eyeball it in roughly the size of where we want. Okay, once we have that in, again, 2,500 miles north-south, 2,500 miles east-west, and I know this is 2,500 miles from Google Earth that I set the top of this to here, so I know the scale. So we're going to hit Control-C on that, and we're just copying the place in our borders because we want a reference for climate. We're going to do new painting, and there it is right there. That's kind of the size of our of our image. Now, we are looking from southern Scotland down into the deserts over here in Prussia. It's actually pretty good scale there. Since we're happy with this, we're going to save this as scale to stream. All right. Put that right there. Okay. So we've kind of got how big our area is, and we can use from this map, we can kind of deduce what climate's like, what the world's going to be kind of like. We have this, the Mediterranean Sea, of course. We have Germany, and we have like Hungary and stuff like that too. We kind of get a feeling for the heat of the world, for the climate, how varied things are, and we know that it'd take a season to walk north to south and east to west, and again, that's in a straight line. So let's go ahead and let's go into Wonderdraft, and this is all gonna. Here's something I love about Wonderdraft or any other piece of software out there. I am actually going to use that 25 miles in a day, or 200 and 2,500 miles. Yes, 2,500 miles a month. We're actually going to use this as the resolution for this image. Okay, so every pixel someone travels, technically, on this is a mile. So let's go ahead and we're just going to pop this open really quick with Wonderdraft. Again, version 1.1.3. So throw up Wonderdraft. There is our map. Let's go ahead, and the next step is what I usually do is I'll try and that image we took of Europe. Of course, it's not there. There we go. We're going to mouse this up. It's not exactly, get close to it, about right there. All right, ish. Let me just double check that I'm doing this right. Back to Google Earth. 25 there. Oh, that's what's going on. Okay. Derp. Went way too low. And that's why I check. Apparently 2,500 miles is a lot bigger than that. There's someone screaming in the comments right now, "You're doing it wrong, Dan." I'm like, yeah, pretty much. Okay. So let's try this again. Again, I get my north and south. Oh, ah. Fortunately, there's no undo button in Google Earth. Okay. And let's say our person wants it not so deserty. So let's go Mediterranean above. So that is going to be our 2,500 miles. Again, it's really early, so if I screw this up, I'm sorry. You know what? Let's just do this. Okay, 25 miles times 30 times 3. Oh, 2,250 miles. You see? Just checking. Again, it is like 4 a.m. in the morning while I'm doing this. My time. Okay, again, so we're going to find, let's stay away, let's say Crete here. So the hottest is going to be right down there to ish. Okay, I'm going to take this line, put it in the center of my screen, and using not the scroll wheel, which I'd usually use. Okay, so we know now that is technically 2,260 miles. Now we're going to come over here. We're going to check. Now this is also something to keep in mind. We are working on a globe here. So things are going to get a little, when it comes to the actual physical traits of this map. We're trying to make something from a cylinder. Okay, there we go. And it'll distort. Okay, so we're going to print screen on that. Control print screen. Then come to, yay, this program. We got our size there. And I know that the top of the screen to the bottom, you guys can all see my wonderful layout of how I do stuff on channel. We will go back. I just had a feeling I messed that up. All right. So it's kind of roughly right there. And if I can contact my client, and again, I control C that, don't save, control V that, yay. And show them actually a place in the world how big it was, or like if they give me a location, like, oh, you know, kind of European. If I do that with that, it comes to them, and it's like a really credible way to show that you really do care about the story, which you should. We're going to say this is JPEG. All right, then we're going to go back into Wonderdraft. And instead of the 24, we're 2250, 2250. There we go. Okay, now I'm in Wonderdraft. I'm going to go to my overlay. I'm going to select the image. And oh, that's saved. Awkward. No, it didn't save right. Saved that in the wrong spot. Well, good thing I kept it there. Save as. Oh, it's there. Oh, I did a bitmap. Derp. Okay. Just refresh that. There we go. Okay, we're going to use this as kind of a to show our to get a feel of the scale for how large this land we're going to do. So let's go ahead and we're going to adjust the opacity and bring this down a little bit more there. Let's go ahead and make a map really quick. We're first going to start with the land itself. Again, this is how I do pretty much 90% of my maps unless otherwise needed. I'll start with the large shapes. Let's say we're doing something similar to Europe, but maybe they want it islandier. So we're just gonna put some islands here. Maybe they add some specific notes. You know what? Let's say they had a note that. Just walk this in real quick. Let's say they wanted a gigantic meteor strike in the middle of everything. It tore the world apart, killed all their dinosaurs. Sad. Dinosaurs are cool. Okay, so let's say we had a big world here. And let's say there was a massive explosion that decimated the land. So let's say they want it down southeast here. So let's give some line to work with first of all. Let's say that's kind of what roughly the world looked like about then. So we have this giant hit. So right there. Then now we're going to come in here and we are going to hit the lower. Going to put this a little rough. We're just going to kind of do a gigantic. Let's drop the roughness there. Gigantic strike piece right here. Keeping it circular. If we need a reference, since we have Google Earth out, we can use that for strike places. I'm not saying I'm a master at strikes, but I've done a lot of maps where something has hit the ground and cracked it open. good example of that, Yucatan Peninsula on this level, on this magnitude of size. We can actually go check that out. And they said the Yucatan, this whole area was hit by a giant meteor. So yeah, we're definitely definitely talking a life-threatening event. Okay, cool. And again, you can do the same thing with the size. You just have to fit it to size. Okay, we're back here. I got a ton of little islands, but islands are good. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start refining my shape. Make that a little bit bigger. Yeah, there we go. Again, this is kind of rough. I'm refining my shape by taking land away. I find that taking land away from an object is a lot easier than adding land mass. It just feels better and it looks better. So in that case, when I'm starting to work on a piece, I will add a lot of land that it just feels just too much. With the knowledge, I can come in and just, burn the crap out of this. There we go. Go down here. I can hit Alt to toggle the map. I'm going to increase some of the map here. Maybe let's have some of this. Maybe my client wants this more like it would be, or how they picture like a meteor strike to be. Yeah, we can go in there and find our shape. Let's zoom down in there. I hope this is helping. We'll go over the steps again right at the end of this. Let's use our brush size a little bit now. Maybe this is where it hit right here. And again, so we have something kind of cool there. Let's cut back on some of this so it's not so, hey, something. I mean, it's going to pulverize. The closer in you're going to get you're going to get more pulverized earth. All right. Cool. Okay, we have a start there. I come up here. If you are in the chat right now, I can't see you. I'm very sorry about that. There is a couple of issues that I'm actually having to stream this on 3 different platforms right now. One on Facebook, one on Twitch, and one on YouTube. YouTube is getting rid of the ability to multi-stream, which makes me sad and makes my life eternally more difficult. So that sucks. All right. So right now I am in similar things. I'm just going to add a couple more details. Like right here, I've decided I want another crater. Again, I call the commissioner or whoever commissioned this and say, hey, put some more meteor strikes in. That's what you want. I mean, if it definitely was a meteor, let's add some more. So we're just going to add 1 or 2 here and there. All right. So now we've got landform, except this down here looks like a demonic Pac-Man trying to devour something. So we're going to go in here and just nom this. Make some interesting shapes. Control Z if we don't like what we're doing. Okay, sweet. Well, there's that. Now let's go ahead and now that we're kind of happy with there, let's go into the land portion. We're actually going to paint some colors now. And we're going to use these to kind of give us a climate. Now we have this map back here, so down here it's going to be warm, and then up here it's definitely going to be cold. So let's go ahead. We're going to change the theme around right now. We're going to go to let's look at these. Let's go to Terra. I don't know if I like that. So let's go to imagination. There. Okay, we'll go with imagination. Now, I'm going to keep the overlay on here. And we're going to really quickly kind of fill some stuff in. Actually, that's not giving me the color I want. You know what? Good enough. So we're going to put, let's go to overlay. We're going to have to reduce the opacity quite a bit, just so it's barely showing. Okay, so I can see Africa and I can see Sweden there. It's right there. That'll give me a good idea of where things are and what they're doing. Okay. So I do know, well, go. Themes. I find with Wonderdraft is, okay, that works. Sometimes the colors are just a pain because they all don't look decent. So I'm marking this really quick as warm areas. You come in here and do temperate, warm temperate. And maybe colder temperate up here. Let's go cold up here like this. This is just giving me an idea of where things are. No, so let's go with that. There we go. This is all warm. And again, I'm not putting much time into this. I'm not even thinking about it much. I'm just clicking down there and say that's warm. This is temperate. Well, warm temperate. It's going to be, and this is cold temperate. Mixing up into the colder areas. Okay, we've got our climate and kind of how things are going there. The next thing I do with scale is I come back to my overlay, or, you know, bring the opacity up here. Let's talk about some mountains. This is really, oh, crap, I messed up there, like that. This is really easy to do. I kind of bring this up maybe there, and I've got these Alps. And if I zoom in, I really can see the size of mountains in the areas. By using that information, I can choose the correct scale. So in this case, we go to our symbols, go to there, mountains, and let's kind of get a feel. Yeah, I see that's way too big, so let's bring this down. Actually, at 20, that is not bad at all. It's hard to see right now, so. Okay, I think we've got a good scale there. Maybe 30 for the big stuff, 20 for the smaller stuff. I'm just going to keep this here as a reminder. Actually, let's bring that down a little bit more. So let's go back to our mountains. So if that's our, yeah, so about right there is our really big mountains. You know, really big mountains about 20 and smaller mountains about 15. Perfect. See that? All right. Now, let's not, we don't necessarily want that in this, so let's go ahead and start throwing some stuff down. I'm going to use these mountains. Let's say we have, since there was a massive explosion, it caused down here, this part of the continent to buckle into this. So we're going to go to our symbols, we're going to go to our mountains, we're going to go to our big mountains, 20. So there's a massive buckling of mountains. Also, that's a little too big on that. Let's go 15. There we go. Again, this is the biggest part of the mountains. This is the spines, the ridges, the fault lines, and stuff like that. So maybe we have something like this. Maybe the client wanted something, you know, so maybe some mountains down here. I'm just throwing these down real quick. But again, with our scale, we roughly know the size of these mountain areas. Like this area here, that's the Alps. This one down here, Alps times 2 from all the way north to west. Let's say we have a mountain range coming all the way down here. Hey, look, it's now the size of the Rocky Mountains. Put a couple offshoots. That means this area is, you have 2 plates. You have a plate down here and a plate right here slamming into each other. Or you have a plate right here pulling away and slamming down into here. Just, you know, have fun with it. Whatever you guys feel there. And if you're on, I cannot see you if you're online right now because, again, I have to go from place to place. And we'll see how that works with YouTube and everything else. But it definitely is going to make life annoying. Okay, now these are little branches of mountains. We're just going to come like this. Now we'll be going and getting some more colors in for this map because I don't know if I like this current schematic. What's here? The colors. Again, I'm going to go side to side with these to create, because any one of these big mountains got to be accompanied with a littler mountain. And with Wonderdraft, I'm going sides and side just like that. Instead of up and down is giving me the effect I really like. There we go. The up and down kind of, I don't know, doesn't seem right for some reason. All right, back here. Back here. Back here. There we go. I'd like to apologize that it took me so long to get back to this. Again, money issues. It's the most wonderful time to be trying to make a living right now. And I haven't been able to actually get a mic to replace this old one I'm on. So the second I can do that, I'm going to do that because the channel lives or dies by its microphone. There we go. All right. We kind of got a rough idea on where things are. Let's go ahead and let's look for a theme that doesn't want, you know, that's a little bit better. That is pastel. Adventure. Okay. Then we're going to go to land. It's not too bad. We're going to start down here then with the desert. And we are going to increase brush size, but drop the opacity pretty much to 0. Maybe one more. There we go. And we're going to use this nice brown here at half opacity. We are just going to very lightly touch this area up. This is where it's going to be kind of deserty. And let's say this next part, let's say the mountains here are, yeah, that color. Could have brush size, maybe choose that. Put our opacity at 0. And we're just going to gently blend this color into everything else. In fact, let's do this. We're going to start over with colors completely. Because let's say my client wants something else. We do know, though, that at any time we can just bring this back up to give us an idea of climate. And let's say that she says it's too, like, I don't know, maybe too warm. So we just take our picture up and zip it up there. That gives us kind of a better idea on, so we have a large desert down there. And then we go into very temperate towards the top. Again, using scale. So let's start down here. Let's say this area where I'm at, I'll put the opacity up to along this line. And let's say we're ignoring weather patterns and a couple other things, which is fine. We put the desert the hotter area right there. And this is, we're going to start up here with our temperate areas. Then we have, I don't know, maybe a kind of a grassland thing going on here in the middle. It's like a flag of some country. All right. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to blend these. Again, for blend, I usually prefer either one of these for with Wonderdraft when I'm using it. Okay, we'll come in with this green. Oh, too much on the opacity there. Yeah, it's not working. Let's go back to this other one. Yeah, that's a little better. Let's bring down the brush size a little. We're just barely highlighting this area down here. Just using it to blend. And look, I've convinced our, we talked about rain shadows and where they should be, and they're still not listening. But that's cool. Again, presented as a question, not a, oh, this should be this way, not just, hey, what do you think about, got some life tips there. It's also called Don't Bite the Hand That Feeds You. Okay, let's add, get them really low, and we're just going to hit these mountains. Kind of with the darker shade. Or whatever, whatever you've been contracted to do. And that same back and forth thing. Just kind of darken the mountains in places. Again, going back and forth. Not going too ham on this. Warhams. If you know the reference to Warhams, put it in a comment and I'll give you some free maps. But for the only first person that guesses it. Alright. So let's go ahead and blend some other stuff. Let's come up here and we'll just start kind of merging this color here in the grasslands. A little bit more opacity. Here we go. That way we don't have, it's not just this line. I also like to focus different, the warmer elements or the steeper elements kind of blending in. Like if I'm right here, I just come in. I am doing this with a mouse for if anybody wants to know. My art pad's also, my little tablet is also, it has been possessed by demons from the warp. From there. Alright, let's come in here and let's go break up this green. It just looks too clean. So we're going to come in with this kind of a dark, the same color we used for the grasslands. I'm actually just going to run it back and forth all over this place. Again, this is just with Wonderdraft. I can make my own colors or other things like that, but this is, I'm just showing what would work live on the medium that I'm using. Let's go ahead and up the opacity of that. There we go. It's more of a watercolor effect going on right here. Let's come in here with maybe a lighter brown. It's kind of add some varying color and some different shades. Hope everybody can hear me okay and my mic doesn't suck that bad. There we go. There we go. Maybe with this color we'll come down on the coast here. That's feeling rather good. Okay, let's zip out and let's go to our next step. Is we're now going to look at rivers. Yup. Okay, so largest river is probably going to be this guy right here that we can see. Of course, you have the Rhine here, and it's not showing the Nile. So if we're getting an idea on how big that is, right there, And bring this opacity down. Let's go ahead and go into water, click on Z. Well, we need a little bit better overlay. Okay, right there is what we're going for. So our river size, width, 4 is not too bad. Let's play with it a little though. So our big river is about a 6. Smallest river is about a 3. Okay. So size 3, and again we're going a little portion of the map. So let's go ahead and bring this down. Go back to our map itself, go to the water, click on that. Oh, yeah, okay. So we're here, so let's go ahead and start in the wetter area up here. Oh yes, it always goes. And we're just going to add just a couple things. As such. You know, just a couple of rivers, a couple of happy little things. I got a lot of questions in chat I need to answer. Yeah, I feel bad. I've, run around with the head cut off. There we go. So we got some cool rivers going on. What I did there goes from highest to lowest. From our highest to lowest. All right, down here where it's dry, maybe, I don't know, maybe just one skinny one there. Totally just ran that island over. There we go. Okay, we got our rivers. That is pretty to scale. Double check that. Yeah, it's good. I like that. Okay. Let us now go in and let's bring this back. Let's look at individual foresty areas. Let's go to England. We're in this area. Let's actually keep our right there. That black is going to be our biggest our forests get. So my symbols, we can hit symbols, go to trees. Which ones do I like? Maybe these. Maybe. Want placement rate like crazy. There we go. And look, we got trees going on there. Okay, cool. That feels good. So let's go ahead and we're back into get rid of the opacity, and we are just going to start dropping trees like crazy. Create forests. Usually with my clientele, if I make any changes, of course, back up your work and give options. Like I did this one or this too. This is what you asked for. And play nice. There's a saying of, under promising and over delivering. I prefer the do exactly what you'll tell the person you're going to do, but be willing to go the extra mile and offer options. That way, if they come back to you, you're not making up stories of, oh, I can't do that, and then it creates a, I don't know. To me, that bugs when it comes to dealing with customers. Again, I'm the person that would rather ask permission than forgiveness. Okay, there we go. Forests. And also we can use that scale density. Let's go density up. We can also, I usually don't do this, but let's place some villages and stuff like that. You know, the point A to point B, why we do this in the first place, right? Right there. There you go. There. There. All right. Maybe my client wants this area to be a lot more foresty happy. So I'm just gonna make little clumps all over. This goes back to how this looks is, of course, based on that language we've created with maps from J.R. Tolkien Jr.'s and his father's, Lord of the Rings maps. And we kind of want to copy the scale, the size of that scale in a way. To if you're looking at a player looks at this, they're like, oh, okay, I see how big these trees are, these mountains are, how long is it going to take going from one point to another? So that's what we're doing here. Just so like that. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Then suddenly the client actually wants a giant, maybe a giant forest right here. So we'll do that for them. Just kind of make it varies up the locations. And again, with Wonderdraft, back and forth versus up and down, I find I get a lot, I don't know, it just looks better to me. Personal preference. So we have the forest the size of the Alps. Right here. There we go. Just fill everything else out. There, sweet. Okay, cool. One last thing. Let's put in, this is a demonstration on scale. All right, if Rum's here, here, Berlin's here, that to there is probably a good distance. So a fourth of this map is a good distance. Actually, let's go to Google Earth and figure this out. All right, so London's here, Berlin's ish there, Rum's here. So yeah, 500 miles. Paris, Rome, yeah, about that, 600 miles. So okay, so a month from place to place, or 3 weeks from place to place. Okay, back to Wonderdraft. So if I'm placing cities, and if it's comparable to where we are, if we cut this into 4 quarters, we put find a city really quick, and they have added so many more assets since last time I was here. That is wonderful. We will be doing a video on what they have increased and stuff like that. What they've added in. Well, for the heck of it, we're just going to use this one. So maybe we have a capital here. Maybe a capital up here. Maybe a capital up here. That works, right? Cool. Maybe a little upstart guys there. We'll add some additional symbols to make this look bigger. There we go. Just stack them straight and not tall. Something like that. Whatever. Those are definitely not scaled, but you get the idea. I usually don't put cities like that because of the scale thing, since I'm more interested in more realistic. So let's see if they have any other symbols that are going to meet my needs. Just a symbol or something. Yeah, there we go. Oops. Ooh, I like that a lot better. Okay, cool. Select one there. Let's adjust the palette. Let's just go black as heck. There. Maybe I'm feeling there. Maybe another country, depending on what the client wants there. See how much better that looks to scale. If we're doing, if we're going to scale, let's do it right. So we have those, then we can make our roads to various places. There should have been a capital up here, so my bad for forgetting where it was. And again, I'm just throwing this together real quick. Okay, there's our roads, and everybody's happy. Okay, so yeah, that's how I use scale. That's how I make stuff. Again, what I'll do is, if you made it the video, thank you for being here. Again, what I'll do is, when doing a map, we're going to save this. I kind of like this one. Is first of all, we come up with a common language. Let's go back to Google Earth. So, common language. Okay, how long is it going to take from walking one point to another? And using that information, it's 40K a day. So if they tell me it takes a month for someone, it's going to be 25 times 30, assuming they walk every single day. And then again, 25 times 30, that's 750 pixels, or 750 miles every 25 of those. So with that, there's a sequence there. So let's say I ask, hey, it takes me 2 weeks. So 2 weeks, let's say that's 7 days. So 7 times 25 times 2. So 350 by 350. Okay, there's my resolution of the world, or where it happens in. And then I go into Wonderdraft to start my new one and say, let's say let's do 350, 350. Oh, it only does 512. Okay, well, looks like we're doing 512, which is fine. Okay, we're here, and then we just go to town on where stuff is and where stuff's not. So, yeah, we don't want that. So that's pretty much it on how I personally do scale and how things are, kind of how things work when it comes to finding scale and creating scale in your maps. Again, ask the people, how long does it take from point A to point B? Use that scale 25 miles in a day, and you'll have a very accurate map. Again, don't fight your person. Give them options and what ifs. All right, this is Dan with Avant Novus. I hope the sound worked here. I'll be checking it out. If not, I'll just throw everything away and start over. But thank you so much for being here, and have a great day, and have a good weekend.